What's going on, everyone? So yesterday, the Los Angeles Lakers schedule dropped. Now, I did a full, breakdown of the schedule. Go check out that video if you did not check it out. But what I want to talk about is the Lakers cannot mess around, right? The last few seasons, yes, we've gotten into the play-in. We've been the 7 seed. We're able to get in the playoffs. Last year, we were eliminated in the first round of Denver. Year before that, we were able to get to the conference finals and get eliminated by Denver. But nonetheless, right, like the Lakers were playing catch-up at the end of the season. The Lakers were basically desperate and had to go on these, they had to win 20 out of 30 games and stuff like that. And they were able to do that down the stretch in these last 2 seasons. But you keep tempting fate. You keep messing with, the odds here, right? Eventually, they're going to fall out of your favor, right? And look, I would love a trade, right? Trade would be awesome, right? For the right pieces or two. But I don't think it's entirely necessary, right? You need the right trades. I don't want to trade just to make a trade. And I do think that this team is good enough to be a top 6 seed in the Western Conference, right? Yes, there are teams that have gotten better. A lot of those teams are already at the top. And then you have teams that were kind of in the middle, right? Like Denver, who they were more at the top, but Denver and then the Clippers, they got worse, right? Like, what do some of the other teams do? Like, how do the Pelicans look? Yeah, they have, DeJounte Murray now, but is there kind of disconnect with Brandon Ingram, right? Can guys stay healthy? Zion, there's a lot of questions with a lot of these teams. The Sacramento Kings, yeah, they got DeMar DeRozan, but it's not really what they needed, right? They kind of needed perimeter defense and 3-and-D wings, not really another isolation scorer when they already have De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk. But we'll see. I mean, maybe it works out. Maybe it's great. Maybe they're just that good, right? But the Lakers, you obviously the 2-10 start 2 seasons ago. Last year was much better, but still, you got to start getting your wins consistently. Right? Lakers were just very inconsistent early on in the season. It was a problem. And then you got into the in-season tournament, and it was like everything just clicked. And it was like, man, if we could just play like this every game, we'd probably be a top 3 seed. But the Lakers just couldn't put it together. And then after the in-season tournament championship, which was great to win, I love that we won it, but it was at the detriment of the team because we ended up losing 10 out of 13 games. Now, a lot of that was also Darvin Ham, where if the Lakers won half of those 10 that they lost, they would have been the 4th seed. So I don't think it's far-fetched to think that the Lakers could be a top 5 to 6 seed at worst, right? Now, obviously, they could easily be a 7th or 8th seed or even worse, right? I mean, the margin for error, particularly in the West, is not great. Right? And if you look at the first 5 games of the season, to me, that's going to tell a lot about this Lakers team right out the gate. Because there is concerns that does it take a little while for JJ and the guys to really click? Right? But the Lakers just don't have time. Their first 5 games are against Minnesota, Phoenix, Sacramento, Phoenix, and Cleveland. Now, the first 3 games against Minnesota, Phoenix, and Sacramento are in LA. Then you go Phoenix and Cleveland. In that 5-game stretch, you got to go bare minimum 3-2. Bare minimum. It's looking at that schedule, it's possible for them to go 0-5. Lakers haven't won an opening season game in 5-6 years, something like that, 7 years. So that's not good. And then, after that, you follow that up with games against Phoenix, who, although I still think that they have a lot of the same problems last year, and the Lakers had success against them last season, but I do think are slightly improved, and you play them twice in a 3-game span. Sacramento has had our number for the last few years. The stat with Sabonis and Anthony Davis is not a great look for the Lakers, right? You start breaking this stuff down, and it's Lakers could be 1-4, 0-5. It's just not a good place to be. Got to handle business. They have 6 of their first 9 games or 10 games are at home. You got to win those home games, right? You got to handle business. Got to win those home games, right? They have a nice little road trip early on. Again, they have they have a lot of games that are Phoenix in a 2-day, 3-day span. Then you play Denver and then Clippers and then a quick turnaround and span, the same team, which is really hard. I mean, it's hard to beat a team multiple times, period. But then to play them in like back to back or within a 3-day turnaround, like it's tough, right? So Lakers definitely have a tough schedule. They don't have as many back to backs. They have 13 compared to 15 last year, but still they have a very tough schedule. It's the West, right? The West is not easy. The West is not forgiving. Right, so the Lakers cannot mess around. You got to come out the gate. And my concern is early on. I think JJ is going to be a good coach. I have said repeatedly, I actually really like this coaching staff. I really like the philosophies that I think that the Lakers are trying to instill. I think JJ is going to be a much needed upgrade over Darvin Ham. But he's also a first-year head coach, and it might take a little time. It might take the first 20 games to really start gaining your stride, to really start getting into the flow of things. But the Lakers might not have 20 games in the Western Conference, right? Like the Lakers might not have that opportunity where if they're even like 10-10 in the first 20 games, that could be the difference between you being in the playoffs or you being in the play-in or maybe even out. Right? I mean, you have several teams that are right on the Lakers' tail that's going to be trying to overtake that spot. So it's just the margin for error is just so tiny. The Lakers just don't have really time to figure things out and mess around. You gotta come out the gate swinging. Right? Now, ideally, again, you go 3-2, and then you have an easier stretch that starts opening up after that first 5 games. Like Lakers, if they go 3-2 in that first 5-game stretch, could easily be 8-4 at worst through the first 12, or be 12-8 through the first 20 games, right? Something like that, where at least you're starting to build that cushion. That's where we need to be in the first 20 games. Because if we're like 12-8, right, in that range, we got like a 4-game cushion. I think the Lakers will be a legit playoff team. Obviously health and everything has to permit, but I think the Lakers will be in great shape because the first 20 games are going to be the figuring out stage, right? First 20 games, 25 games maybe, are going to be hey, we need to kind of, let's figure some stuff out. Let's try some different things, right? It's your almost experimental stage, especially with the new coach, right? So if the Lakers have a winning record through that first 20 games, that's a great sign because they should just continue to catch their stride. They should start having their rotation locked in. That's why even like with Darvin Ham, I was defensive of Darvin Ham through the first like 20 games where I was like, hey, it's early on, and then they won the NCAA tournament, so I was like, see, like we'll be fine. And then Darvin Ham just started going off the rails. It was like, okay, come on, buddy, like can we time out? Can we stop this? But look, we got a better coach in my opinion. Better coaching staff, period. Like, even if you don't think JJ is a better coach than Darvin Ham, right? The coaching staff we have is better than what we had with Darvin Ham. So you got a better coaching staff. You have, hopefully, better health, particularly with our defensive players, right? So if you have better health, better coaching, another year of chemistry, I don't hate that. Again, I want a trade. I'd like to get some positions of need, kind of get rid of some redundancies, whether it's Jeremy Grant or Walker Kessler or Bruce Brown or whomever, right? Maybe it's somebody else that we're not even thinking of, that we don't even know of, right? Ideally, I'd like to pull off some trade, particularly 2, right? Because I think 1 trade potentially raises the ceiling a little bit, but I think we really need either that big puncher, or we need multiple trades to where it's like, okay, now we've raised the bar enough to where we should be a top three team in the West, right? Like that's where the Lakers want to be and kind of need to be. But it's just look, it's taking it game by game, it's taking a day at a time. It's instilling the philosophies. It's taking every game serious. Right? That was the problem last year. There was just a lot of. It just felt like the Lakers weren't taking things serious. It really felt like the Lakers just were like, we're fine. We'll just turn it on. It's fine. It just, we talked about it all season, right? They'd be like terrible in the first quarter or the first half, and then like excellent in the second, and then it like flip-flopped. They were like terrible in the second, but great in the first. It's just like they couldn't string together a consistent 48 minutes, right? It was just like, it was half by half. It was like, what half is going to show up this year, right? It's just like, Lakers look great in the first, and then the second half, and then that carried over into the playoffs, right? And you played Denver. The Lakers would have swept Denver if the game was over at half. If the game was only 24 minutes, Lakers sweep Denver. Let's go, baby. Let's go. But it doesn't work that way, right? It's a full 48 minutes. So Lakers dominant in the first half, and then those consistencies, all of the issues that weren't addressed during the regular season all carried over into the playoffs. And lo and behold, the Lakers' biggest problem in the regular season was their biggest problem in the playoffs, and they end up losing in 5. Why? Because they couldn't put together 48 minutes all season long, and then got to the playoffs, and it was like, oh, same problem, right? First half's excellent, second half's terrible. That was the issue all season long for the Lakers. So got to take it serious. Cannot mess around. This is not, hey, no, this is, let's go, right? This is game time. This is like, hey, we got to make this happen, right? So big test, big stuff ahead, right? But look, I believe in this team. I'm going to ride with this team. Good or bad, let's get it. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think the Lakers handle business? Do you think they're not? Do you have your concerns? Do you not? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.